Hello everybody, I'm Alex, and today we will be breaking down the symbolism and meaning behind Joji and Matthew Dillon Cohen's Will He.
Will your tongue still remember the taste of my lips, my lips?
Released in 2017, Will He was Joji's leap of faith into the music industry, following his departure from YouTube. His first single released under 88 Rising, from the soon-to-come In Tongues EP, it features a dark, melancholic attitude, with lyrics questioning Joji's impact on an ex-lover now that they have moved on to someone new.
Will your lover caress you the way that I did?
It released alongside a gorgeous short film directed by Matthew Dillon Cohen, and that is primarily what we're going to be looking at today. To do this, let's take a peek into the song's lyrics for any narrative foundation that is laid out, which we can use as our first steps into the short film itself. It's pretty clear that the song is about an ex-lover. However, we get a glimpse into their past relationship in the first verse.
When you laugh, when you smile, bring it back. Now I'm sad, I'm a mess. Now we hide,
The lyrics depict that when this lover was happy and enjoying themselves, it was Joji who brought them down into his self-described sad mess, indicating that this is why he left the relationship. This narrative is further reinforced in the second verse, with lyrics such as,
Will he play you so strong just the way that I did? Will he treat you like shit just the way that I did?
What we can grasp from this is that their relationship was toxic, and Joji knew it. He saw the influence that he was having on this lover, and how he was hurting them. He chose to leave the relationship to save them from himself, a self-degrading attitude which may appear noble and right, but still avoids the actual issue of one's own toxic behaviour. Now that this lover has moved on to someone new, Joji comes back, questioning how they'll compare to him. Now that we have the narrative foundation set, let's begin this short film itself. A quick note is that the scenes in this aren't really presented in chronological order, so we'll be dissecting them in what I believe a general timeline of events to be. We immediately open on a suburban house shown in blue light, where inside we can see the aftermath of a party. Now, the setting of this film is a great choice in helping depict the raw and real nature of its narrative. This isn't a flamboyant bursting of emotions in the city lights. Suburbia represents the everyday, the monotonous. It's going to your friend's party knowing that your ex might be there. It adds a lens of realism to this narrative, which I adore. We've already begun to see Matthew Cohen's brilliant use of colour theory in this film, as you'll notice the recurring red and blue colour palette throughout. We see it with the blue house with red balloons, and inside, a party room shown in blue light. It has a blue and red carpet with blue and red playing chips on it, as well as playing cards with the red suit facing up and a blue backing. Later on the film, we see outside in suburbia, which has a red painted house shown against a blue dusk sky. My understanding of the symbolism behind these colours is, while being a general colour palette for the film, red represents love and relationships, whereas blue represents the lack of it. This symbolism will be our frame of reference for understanding many of the intentions of later scenes to come. Now to the inside of the house, where we're greeted with the aftermath of a Halloween party, with a man in a panda suit dancing in the middle. We can tell this is a Halloween party based on the fake cobwebs around, as well as the outfits of many of the passed out attendees. We have some kind of yellow fur onesie, a girl with cat ears, someone in a toga, a man with clown makeup, and the two most important ones, the man in the panda suit, who is later confirmed to be Joji, and his ex-lover, dressed as an angel. The room is shown in blue light, indicating that it is one without love, and as we zoom in on the panda, we can see its blue eyes and stark smile. Now, the other costumes I don't believe hold too much significance, however the panda is quite different. Notice how it's the only one that completely covers up the body and face. The panda is much more than just a costume for Joji. It is a persona that he is wearing to this party to see his ex-girlfriend. Pandas themselves symbolize peace and friendship, and we can see that there is no love in his eyes. He has a smile and he is dancing in this loveless room. This is Joji trying to appear that post the breakup, he doesn't hold any more feelings for her. He is without love and he is happy dancing within it. He doesn't care about her anymore. Her costume is significant too as an angel, probably indicative of how Joji views her as one, this pure, innocent being which he is her. We can see that she isn't wearing a mask, indicating that she has nothing to hide. We see her next dancing in a flashing red light in her angel costume, which tells us that this is happening in the same night. She's dancing in red as she has moved on from Joji and found a new lover, one with whom she is happy with. These two dancing shots are in direct contrast to each other, with Joji wearing his mask and dancing in a room without love, and his ex-lover now dancing in the passion of her new relationship. We move on to another crucial shot, Joji walking in red flashing light with the panda head still on. This shows us that the persona is starting to fall away, and Joji is revealing his true feelings and intentions. The red flashing light indicates not only that Joji has now entered his ex-lover's space, but he is starting to give in to these desires. The panda eyes are no longer red. We see the confrontation between the two take place in the next shot, with Joji's lover in the kitchen. She turns around, shocked, so much that she drops her mug and causes it to shatter. I believe at this point, although we cannot see it, Joji's entire panda costume is now off. She isn't shocked so much at Joji being there, but rather at the reveal of his true intentions. He still cares about her, and the idea of her with another man is torture to him. We move on to my favourite scene, and the most iconic of the entire film. The woman lying down bloody with an arrow through her head, and Joji, panda head off, laying in a bath full of blood. There is so much to unpack here. First, let's begin with the arrow through the woman's head, which I believe was inflicted in her confrontation with Joji. It's reminiscent of Cupid's arrow, which in classical mythology was believed to be shot by Cupid, the god of desire, and once shot with this arrow, you'll fall in love with someone. We actually see similar imagery used later in Joji's career in Slow Dancing in the Dark. I believe it was Joji who shot this arrow, symbolizing his attempt to play Cupid and make her fall in love with him again. We can notice the effects of this, as while her dress remains on, her wings and halo have fallen off and are covered in blood. In Joji's attempt to love her again, he has hurt and killed the angel. This is where the overall symbolism of the film and the song's themes of toxicity really tie together. Red is symbolic of love and relationships, and it presents itself here as blood, symbolic of pain and suffering. It's elevating the narrative that Joji's love for this woman is hurtful and brings pain. They had a toxic relationship when they were together, and that won't change when Joji tries to reignite their love by force. This is further reinforced by the blood stain on the side of the bath, showing that the blood was on Joji's hands when he hopped in. It was of his own doing. This completes another contrasting shot between the two ex-lovers. Joji is bathing in their love and her blood. He's soaking in it, showing how he hasn't moved on from her. Compare this to an earlier shot of his ex-lover taking a shower in complete blue light. I believe this takes place once Joji is already left and is wandering the streets, so that she's washing the blood off. While Joji bathes in the love and pain they once shared, she's literally cleaning herself of it. It's also a continuation of the pattern from their relationship, where she is happy until Joji brings her down. A detail I love in this shot is how the lighting highlights the water flowing right below her eye, invoking the imagery of tears. Outside, Joji has now left the house and is wandering the streets with his blood-splattered shirt, indicative of what he's done earlier that night. We close on one of the best shots of the film, Joji standing out the front of the house in his panda costume. This shot looks straight out of a horror movie, like the villain stalking their prey. It parallels Joji's true nature coming to this party. In summary, Joji and this woman are ex-lovers, and it's insinuated that their relationship was toxic. He was knowingly hurting this woman, which is why he chose to leave. He still cares for her, however, and upon hearing that she has moved on to love another, he returns to confront her. With lyrics such as,
"'Cause I don't need to know. I just wanna make sure you're okay. I don't need to know. I just wanna make sure you're all safe, all safe, all safe."
Joji is attempting to justify and cover up his reasons for questioning her in the first place. Consumed by these emotions, he can no longer hold himself back. In confronting her, Joji exposes his true intentions and hurts her as he did before. I absolutely adore this song and its accompanying short film. It feels real and visceral and admits to one's own toxic behaviours, while complementing an internal bias of self-hatred, where you view yourself as a demon and your ex as a pure angel. It displays all of this conflict against the feelings of jealousy when you learn that your ex has moved on to someone new. As Joji's leap of faith into the music industry, I don't think it could have been any better executed than this. Matthew Dillon Cohen's work here is phenomenal, and he exhibits this in his later projects alongside Rich Brian, Olivia Rodrigo, and J. Cole. He's also beginning a non-profit project this year called Colourful Sets to promote diversity in the filmmaking industry. I'm very excited to see how this is incorporated into his future projects. As with all art, music is subjective, and it is as much up to the listener to form their own interpretation as it is the artist who created the piece. Everyone is going to have their own opinion based on their own personal experiences, and they're all valid in some way. If you agree, disagree, or have any other thoughts on this interpretation, I'd love to hear about it in the comments or on Twitter at @KissSakura. Otherwise, thank you all very much for watching, and I hope you enjoy your day. Peace.
Your tongue still remember the taste of my dick.